And we back. It's about only 50 minutes until the next game starts, so we gotta make this quick. But Miami just took down the Knicks, obviously in Game Three, pretty easily, mind you. The past couple games really haven't moved me for the Knicks. Game one, even without Julius Randle, the way we won that game, even with Jimmy injuring his ankle, we won that game by what 10? We should have won that by 15, maybe closer to 20, if Jimmy was able to stay completely healthy, especially on that ankle. Then you go over to game two, where they struggle with our G League roster. You know what? Not even want to disrespect the Heat like that. They struggle with our roster without two of our three best players. And Depot too. Can't forget him. And then this game, it was just an utter domination on every single side of the ball. I'm talking about we beat this team in rebound. We shot horribly today from everywhere. They just shot worse. But the defense today was great. We out rebounded them. We out hustled these guys. Less turnovers. Honestly, this is just a game that the Heat were built to lose, to be honest, with how horribly we shot. But generally, the Knicks just don't have a scheme that works well against this Heat team. Their big lineup isn't working well because it doesn't provide any spacing. They're packing the paint on Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle when they get down there. When you have Hartenstein or Mr. Robinson down there. But if you run the small ball lineup, Obi Toppin can't guard a fish out of water, so they're getting wrecked on the other side of the ball. Now you get quickly out of here for probably the rest of the series with how bad their ankle sprain looks. And now they have one less guard that can handle the ball. You probably see some McBride minutes. But honestly, it's just setting up for the series to be over in 5. Jimmy today, honestly, the refs are bad on both sides, but there's a couple calls they missed on him where that 9 for 21 could have easily been a 9 for 18 night, but with more free throws, and he has another 30 ball. With some of the calls they probably didn't call that they normally he does get, but tonight they didn't call him. Bam today was a man amongst boys down there, 17 and I think 12. No numbers weren't anything crazy, but when you watch the game, you look at his impact, locking up Julius Randle on the boards, getting offensive rebounds, keeping these guys off the glass. Honestly, great performance by him. Again, and whenever he is on the short roll, especially the pick and roll, the Knicks are constantly sending two into the lane. So he really has no space to really do anything that he wants. So getting 17 in a series like this and even scoring is just a bright sign for him. He's just taking what the defense is getting him, and he's working great. Kevin Love, honestly, every single role player. Today, Gabe was quiet, but Mac showed up. I think he had the best shooting percentage on the entire team. Kyle showed up today. Kevin Love showed up today. Caleb did great today. Overall, it's a fantastic performance by this team. I just don't know how New York is going to be able to combat this coming next game, because with the way the Heat's been shooting all these playoffs, you can't count on them shooting this bad again. We can count on the Knicks shooting this bad because they've been shooting this bad the entire playoffs. You can't count on the Heat shooting this bad again, especially with how they've been shooting these playoffs. And they shoot a little bit better, especially coming out with the energy they did on the defensive end today. And the fact that you're an ISO heavy team and the Heat are constantly clogging the paint so that your two best players can't really get anything going and they're forcing you to shoot from 3. I really don't see how the Knicks can really do anything to get back in this series. The Knicks really never scared me from the jump. Team that didn't really have wasn't really on my radar all season. I understand that little winning streak they had going on and the overall were great in the regular season, and they clobbered the Cavs, but I think that's just a more show that how unready the Cavs were instead of how good the Knicks really were, because their offense was awful. Hey man, I'm hearing boohoo collectives on the ESPN and some of the other stuff because I don't watch the games. I read the report and I read the commentary and listen to podcasts, and this is turning. And she see if Jimmy can stay healthy. This is gonna be good. I'm enjoying the reporting of it. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna be that much more interesting. If the Heat stay healthy, especially with quickly going down, I can see this being over in 5 or 6. Maybe they take 5, maybe you get some energy, but this isn't going past 6 games, and it's gonna be a pretty one-sided series. In a sense where the one game you win is when you come up with the electric energy. The Knicks are going to have to shoot just the cover off the ball to win a game in the series again. They're going to have to shoot better to win it because the Heat are daring them to make threes and they're just not doing it. And Julius Randle, again, just having another awful playoff run. He dropped a whole, I think, highlight tape after he went 8 for 18, his best shooting performance ever in the playoffs. Oh, hoops collected. I mean, the halftime report, the moment Jalen Rose decided to say that you sometimes, you have to realize the Miami Heat weather and how that can affect you, I immediately turn it off because I'm like, what am I watching right now? You're blaming the weather right now for this is what we're doing. But honestly, overall, fantastic performance by everybody. We can shoot a little bit better next game. Hopefully, hit some more threes and not shoot this bad again. This is the only team we can get away with this. We need to get it into rhythm because we're playing probably Boston next round, and shooting this bad, we can't get away with that consistently. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves and just focus on getting this team out of here. It really should be a 3-0 series, but it's 3 2-1. Um, the Heat just genuinely look like they are head and shoulders above this team. They got away with bullying the Cavs and dropping them out in 5 games because the Cavs just don't have that level of physicality with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. You're not doing that with Bam Adebayo, with Kevin Love, with Jimmy. You're not bullying those guys down low. You're not bullying them out of games. You're either getting bullied or you're matching their energy. There's no in between. But honestly, this is what would you say is something that could come up and that you'd be like, this could make a 7-game series because the Knicks the only way this goes to 7 is if the Knicks magically start shooting 38 to 42% from three per game for the rest of the series. That's the only way this turns out to be a good 7-game series. And if they don't start shooting consistently, they can't win this series because the Heat are forcing them to take those shots. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are seeing multiple bodies in the paint every single time they try to drive and create anything. And going ISO on Bam Adebayo or going ISO on Jimmy Butler or Gabe Vincent really isn't looking too good for Jalen Brunson right now. And RJ Barrett's overall production this series, the entire playoffs has been up and down. He had a nice little stretch there, but today he had a really bad game. And even then, if he had a good game, I don't think that would have been enough to even keep this team in the game. So overall, they're going to need to shoot at least 40% from three to make this a series with the Heat. If they don't shoot well, not even 40% from three, they need to shoot at least 38 to 40% from three and make at least double-digit threes in the game. I'm talking about not even like 10. I'm talking about a good 13 to 15 in the game for them to really be in it with how the Heat are dominating them in every other aspect of the game. And I understand game 1 they didn't have Julius Randle, but look how much that's helping them now. In game 2, this team was a shell of itself. We lost 3 ball handlers and our best player and our second best scorer. Like game 2, the fact that that game was even close and it took some very, very bad calls for the Knicks to win that one, it should tell you that how one-sided this entire series really is. Oh, I didn't even know you could show these. My bad. I'm new to streaming. I didn't even know you could show his comment. But would you say is something that would come up that would yeah, that's what I was answering right there. Entirely, I've never been high on the Knicks this year. I've been watching them. It's been bully ball, and Julius Randle's always been great in the regular season, but the same thing happens every single time. He can't go left. He can't create anything going right. I mean, he can't create anything going right, and the playoff time comes around. He meets a pretty good defender, and they force him to go right, and it falls off a cliff. Now you have Jalen Brunson handling the majority of the ball handling ability, but again, he's a 6-foot guard. In a series versus the Heat love small guards because they bully the shit out of them. They did it to Trae Young last year, and they're doing it to Jalen Brunson this year. They can't get anything going downhill, and they're not shooting well from the outside. Again, I've been saying the same thing the whole time. They just can't get anything going on any other aspects of it. Now, what could change is that small ball lineup that they did play at the end of the game with Obi Toppin and Julius Randle. They were getting out in the break, and they were they closed the game okay. They didn't close the game well. Obviously, they lost by 20, but you can tell Tibbs was really trying to experiment some stuff, see what could work. Because at this point, he's probably at a loss of what to do. And Spo has basically coached a circle around him this series, even with this only being 2-1. So I expect some adjustments. I don't expect anything big, though. And with Emmanuel quickly gone, yeah. But, another quick little talk about this. We can talk about the Lakers Golden State game, but I'm not going to talk about that until that game's over. We're going to talk about it. But I have a full video on the Heat and how they've been well this playoff run coming out tomorrow with this exact thumbnail. So look for it tomorrow. But yeah, this FIB. That's my time, and I am out.